Hi everyone, welcome back to my craft room. Today I have all kinds of things for spring, organization tips, and about my paint station that's out in the garage, plus thrift flips for spring. And so there's a lot going on today. Subscribe, watch to the end. So let's get started. I got this bunny from the thrift store. It had some weird paint. It was, I brought it home. I actually scrubbed it in the sink, let it dry, and then I put it out in my paint station in my garage. And over the course of a couple of weeks, I would do a light coat of paint, 5-10 seconds to do that, and just let it dry. And then almost without thinking about it, it ended up, and then of course I flipped it and everything, but it ended up ready to go without adding really any extra work at all. So that garage paint station is really handy. I want to show you my handy dandy paint station that's in my garage. This is a pallet, and it is a little bit oversized. We had my Aga delivered on that. And so what we did is we just took the pallet, set it on the garage floor. We have some clamps for when I'm needing to drill, and this just is the paint station. Now, this summer, we might have to move it a little bit because in the summer, our garage gets used a lot. There's a lot more in and out. But for now, it's just so great to have a spot that I can paint. And what I love is when I need to do several coats, like I've had to do with our projects from today, I can come out, grab a can, spray them, and go. So it takes me all of 15 seconds on the way to the car if we're going to go somewhere. And I just spray several coats easily as I go. And so that is a very handy dandy garage paint station that can also be used for drilling. So now with several coats of paint, this is all ready to go. And I went into Design Space and I found a polka dot pattern, and I just basically duplicated it and welded several of those together until I had, it actually ended up being a 5 by about 8 size because I wanted the polka dots to stay round and not switch to oval when I resized it. So I'm getting that cut right now. I'm going to do one side in this really pretty light green, and then the other side in a blush pink, so that when I am staging it, I could use either side depending on what the rest of my decor is. Because there are a whole bunch of little dots, I'm going to go ahead and scrape this down and hopefully get those dots to really stick to the carrier sheet. There we go. And then when we weed up, we're going to have to go carefully, and I'm just going to watch each row as I go. Go ahead and cut off some of that vinyl so that you're not having to deal with that. Now that we have all of that weeded, let's see how that's going to lay out. I think that's going to lay on there just right. We're missing a dot here, I just saw. So what we're going to do is get this laid on, and then we'll see if there are any dots around the edge that we can just fill in there. So since we've been doing several different things with this, I just want to clean off the bunny. And now let's go ahead and get this on our transfer sheet. And this really is my new favorite. It has a lot of good adhesive, so it transfers really well. If I'm transferring onto paper and even some lightly painted surfaces, I really would rather use the transfer tape that's more like masking tape. But I'm really getting, so I really like this. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do, because this is a pretty big project here, and I tend to get a little crooked, I'm going to go ahead and just fold down part of this and go ahead and get it lined up. And then I will just pull this back and let it just fall naturally onto the cutout. Okay. Okay. Now same thing now. I'm watching as I go. This is much easier than the initial bead, but I'm just watching to make sure none of those dots are coming up. And since I'm looking onto a white piece, it's much easier to see. All right, so now I'm just going to lay this on and just get an idea of, I actually really like that. And here's the spot that had the missing dot. And so I actually think we're going to be okay even without that. Okay, just going to put that down. I'm going to go at an angle here. And once again, I'm watching row by row and making sure those dots are sticking. Like I've got just a partial dot right there. I might need to come and fill back in just a minute. Now you'll see the ones around the edge, they're just coming up with the transfer tape. Now you'll see a lot of these fall off the edge, and I'm looking to see if maybe one came up that might need to just go back. Like I see there's a spot there that looked like we had a partial that probably needed to be there. Just checking around the edge here. And I'm just going to treat some of these like stickers and just put them on if it looks like we've got a gap. You see, you kind of want to make a square. So if I were looking at that one, the square would be there. Maybe one right there. And I think the rest we're probably doing okay. All right, so I just want to make sure those are pushed down. And then I can come back through with scissors and trim off the ones that hang over. You can also use a very sharp X-Acto knife. I just really like how that's coming out. Okay, there we go. I really like that polka dot bunny. Okay. Now, let's see how we'll do. I think we've got the width there with here, and we'll just do the same thing where if we need to, we will just replace some of the dots like stickers. Just going to trim off some of these edge ones. This part is the easiest and kind of the funnest. Oh, there's one. Because it's really easy to see, I'm just going to see if we even need that one. Okay. There. Looks like that's going to go on just fine. And I'm going to kind of go around the edge of that because on the last one I saw, we really kind of need those edges really pushed down. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and trim some of this off so I don't have so much to deal with. Okay. Let's stick that right back on there so we can use those dots. Okay. All right. Very good. All right. Okay. So the bunny is all done. It's got the green polka dots on the one side and the pink on the other, so it does double duty. I'm going to add a bow that includes both of those colors. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull those off. I just love that because the polka dots just go so perfectly with this. There we go. Okay, so here's our green side, pink bow showing, and then there we go. So that's a versatile piece that can be used whichever direction we want it to be. These other two pieces that I found at Goodwill are wooden pieces that were decorated, one with the bow and some paint and other things. And then that was the bunny. And then the sheep had a whole bunch of yarn glued to it and a bell. And so it took me quite a while, but I cut off all the yarn, took off the bow, everything else. I sanded that wood down for quite a while to get it smooth, to try to get all of the glue off. And then I went ahead and took those to my paint station and did several coats of paint on those. Okay, so we have our sheep painted. I've done just a grayish trim around the outside edge with Waverly paint in silver lining. I just kind of wanted to keep that white, but I did want a little bit of a contrast with the trim, and so that's why I did it that way. I actually prefer sheep as symbols of Easter. They are also a symbol of Passover. And our family, we celebrate both of them because Old Testament Passover reveals symbols of upcoming New Testament Easter. And so we like to celebrate both as a way to remember symbols given and then symbols fulfilled in Easter. So Passover is a big part of our celebration in the spring. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly get this weeded and ready to go. I'm hoping that I can do all 4 of these transfers with one piece of transfer tape. Okay, I'm just going to wipe these down and make sure our dust is off of those. Okay. I'm going to cut those apart. And let's do these bit by bit. I'm going to try to line up those the lines on the transfer tape even so that when I take that word off, I can easily get it straight. Let's see. Okay. That back down. Okay. 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 Nice. Like those. Okay. Looks like that piece is gonna work for all four, I'm hoping. I think by the time we've done all four, that piece is gonna be pretty much done. Okay. Okay, and now let's do this last one. Get some of that transfer tape out of there because this one is quite small and it's making it a little bit harder to manage. And that transfer tape is definitely used up after 4 transfers. Definitely. Okay. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we've got hope and miracle and faith and grace. And I just really like those. Those will go along really well with both of our Easter and Passover celebrations. And I just love that symbol of the sheep for this time of year. So now let's talk about the storage of particularly your foam brushes. This idea would work for others, but what I'm going to show you is specifically to foam brushes. And then after you use them, sometimes, you've got them laying around and sitting there out where they can make a mess with other things. So I found this unit at the Dollar Tree, and it was in their $5 section in the wood. And I just thought this would be so handy for not just storing the brushes, but for putting them also when they're drying or between uses. And so the first thing I did was drill a hole on each end, and I measured so they'd be in the same spot. Our next job is to actually feed through some of this thin elastic. Now this is elastic that I use when I'm making American Girl doll clothes. So it's thin. It actually holds up really well. I use this elastic when I'm making little pants or shorts or pajama bottoms or something for the dolls. So you're just going to take that elastic and you're going to feed it through both ends. And then in the end, you're going to tie kind of a thick knot so that when you pull it back through, that knot will hold that elastic in place. Then I can trim that down a little. Okay, and then when you get to this other side, you're going to pull it so that you've got some tension on that, like that. And then and I actually, we can trim that off. I actually pull it pretty tight as I'm tying a knot in that other end. Okay, and then let's trim that side as well. Okay, so I've got this kind of tight thing right there, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that. So this box is handy. I buy my foam brushes in a pack of 25 at Walmart, and it's around $5 for a pack of 25. And so, they're certainly affordable, and because they're so inexpensive, they're easy to use for one project. I don't generally wash these out. Now, my nice brushes that I use for oil painting or watercolors, those are expensive brushes, and so I wash them out very carefully each time so that they stay really nice. But these I'm not too worried about these, and these are just great for covering a lot of space on a piece of wood or something. So this actually can store that whole pack of 25 brushes. And so I really like that, and it makes it so I can see easily when I'm running low and I need to get more. So then the way I deal with brushes that have paint on them, and I might be using them for a future project, I just take these little sandwich baggies. You can use, any number of different types of baggies. And I just wrap them up like that. And then we've got these tiny little hair rubber bands that we have a whole bunch of because of all the girls in my family. And then I just put them behind that little rubber, that little elastic piece. And it just makes it so you can store these, and it keeps them from drying out. So if I know, like with my spring projects, I know I'm going to probably repeat those same pastel spring colors, then this will keep those brushes from drying out, and I use fewer, less waste, and that just makes everything easier. And the baggies, these hair things, you can get at the dollar store. So really, this is a great Dollar Tree, dollar store storage solution for your brushes. So that little piece of elastic there, it just keeps those brushes standing right up in easy reach. And you can actually stack them pretty deep. I don't have enough that I need to stack a lot, but look, I can even put that one in there. Just a super easy way to store your brushes while you're in the middle of a project and before you've started. And then of course, once I'm finished with the project and these have dried out, I actually keep the rubber band in the bag, and I can just throw the brush away and then just go with a new project. So that is just a clever, easy way for you to store your foam brushes and make them easy to dry and store. This will also fit some of my taller, nicer brushes. There's just a fun, quick, clever way to store your brushes. Our last spring thrift flip that we're doing uses two of these lamps that I bought at Goodwill. So I took them home, cleaned them up, cut off the cord, and took the cord out of the middle and got it all dismantled so that all I had left was that interesting base. And then I took it out to my garage paint station and I did several coats of a pretty green that I really liked, that for me looked like a little bit of a patinaed copper, and that's what I was going for. Now, once that pretty green had dried completely thoroughly, I got this product called Rub and Buff, and I got it in a copper color because I really was going for that whole old copper, patinaed copper look. So I got some of that. I just actually got a rag, an old rag, and I used my foam brush, and I just brushed it on that rub and buff in different places on that base. And then I got a cloth and just wiped across it and took most of it off. So what happened is the rub and buff kind of went into all of those decorative crevices and along those spots and the little flowers on top. And I just kept working that until it had enough of that copper patina that it was exactly what I wanted to kind of make that look like old copper. Then to finish off this very simple Easter or springtime project, I found these two large styrofoam eggs at Walmart. I pulled off the bows, and then the green one I liked. I felt like it looked more natural. The pink one looked too much like bubblegum pink to me. So I decided to leave the green just as it was, with just a little bit of a wipe down and a cleanup. But the pink one, I decided to repaint to kind of tone down that bright pink. And so I used a chalk paint in ballet slipper, and then I just went through and just painted the whole egg. I went ahead and put skewers in the ends of these eggs. The skewers actually helped me hold the pink one so that I could get it painted. And then once that paint was on there, that lighter pink, I used a couple of different shades of brown and a fan brush, and I went ahead and just did some speckling on it so it closely resembled the green one. When you're doing a painting project like this, it's really good to have this old desk calendar down, because look how easy cleanup is. So there are the bases all put together already, and then look how easily this project goes together. With those skewers, they go straight down the holes where the cords went for the lamp, and so the eggs don't fall off. And they just look so great. And so, super easy project. And then let's put them in our display. You can see how our Easter and spring projects have all come together with one cohesive look that's pretty happy and fun. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked all of these thrift store flips, and please subscribe, because there's so much more coming up for spring and Easter and Mother's Day and into summer, and I'm so excited about what I have to show you as far as multi-use decor and organization and storage ideas, so that your house isn't just overrun with decor, but everything is beautiful and easy to manage. See you next time.